So making our way onto our mats today, you want to go ahead and find yourself in a comfortable seated position, maybe easy cross-legged pose, maybe the ankles can even line up. Maybe you want to sit on the knees. So whatever feels good for you today. And then before we get started, let's take a big inhale, shrugging the shoulders all the way to the ears, tightening up the face, big inhale. And as you exhale, sigh it out, let it go. Relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. So in our practice today, we're going to be keeping our awareness linked with our breath. So following the path of each inhale, taking a full and complete inhalation, taking notice of those pauses in between the inhalation and the exhalation. Long, slow exhalation. So following our breath throughout this practice, letting it keep us anchored to the present moment, taking each moment as it comes with each breath. And if our mind wanders, bringing our awareness back to our breath, letting it keep us anchored to the here, to the now, which are really the only moments we have. So, using this practice today to nourish our souls and our inner light, and as we nourish our own inner light, we're also providing nourishment to the collective light. So the light of our brothers and our sisters. We're going to take a few inhalations together. So as we inhale, maybe keeping the eyes closed, so keeping that focus inward here. And imagining in our mind's eye that we're going to be inhaling light, love, and nourishment. Gathering it up, carrying it into our own being. And as we carry it into our own inner light, we carry it to others. So big inhale, fingertips to the heavens. Inhaling light, love, nourishment. Carrying it down the midline into our hearts. 2 more, just like that. Big inhale. Visualizing light and nourishment. Carrying it down the midline into our heart, not only nourishing ourselves, but nourishing our brothers and sisters in collective consciousness. One last one, big inhale. And as you exhale, carrying it down into the heart. Carrying it into our inner being, our inner body bright. A part of us that is way beyond the skin that we're in. You can open the eyes if you like. We're going to start with some gentle neck movement. So starting to walk the left fingertips out to the side of the body. Take an inhale here. And then as you exhale, we're going to lower the right ear to the right shoulder, getting a nice stretch in the left side of the neck. Letting the inhalation fill up any tension that you might be holding there, letting the breath expand. And then as you exhale, letting the exhalation relax, release, melt. Couple rounds of breath here. You can even take the right palm and gently place it on the top of the crown, pressing down, applying a little bit of pressure. And then gently floating the crown back up to center like there's a string from the heavens, just lifting it up. Then starting to walk the right fingertips out to the side of the body, big inhalation. And as we exhale, lowering the left ear to the left shoulder. Continuing to follow the path of our breath. Letting the inhalation fill up any spaces in the right side of the neck. Maybe holding any tension. And the exhalation, relax, release, melt it away. Taking the left palm on top of the crown, if that feels okay to you, you can apply a light pressure here. Breathing. Gently floating the crown up to center. We're going to take our right leg and start to take our right heel back towards behind us with the bottom of the left foot on the knee here. So it's almost like a little bit like of a deer stance with the legs. I'm going to take a big inhale, taking the arms overhead. And then as we exhale, we're going to twist to the left, placing the right palm on the left knee, gazing back over that left shoulder, breathing here. Maybe you can even imagine that your breath, as you inhale and exhale, is massaging those internal organs. Take a big inhale, lifting up out of the side body. And then as you exhale, maybe you can twist just a little bit deeper. Gently unwinding, making our way back to center. Then changing the position of our feet. So left heel behind us. The bottom of the right foot into the left knee. Again, it's kind of like a little deer stance. So we inhale, we take our fingertips to the heavens. And then as we exhale, we twist over to the right, letting the left palm rest on the right knee to take us deeper into the twist. Maybe you can gaze back over that right shoulder, letting the twist come from your center, so we're lifting up and out, and then moving from our center. Continuing to follow the path of the breath. Each inhale providing the nourishment and healing for our bodies. Each exhalation relieving tension and stress. Gently unwinding, making our way back to center. We're going to make our way into tabletop. So rooting down with the palms into the earth, shoulders stacked over the wrists, knees stacked right underneath the hips, tops of the feet also rooting down into the earth. As we inhale, we're going to drop the belly, shine the heart forward for cow. As we exhale, we're going to tuck the belly to the spine, and as we do so, shift it back into Balasana Child's Pose. Inhale, rising up into cat. As you exhale, drop the belly, lift the heart, wave your spine back into Balasana. Inhale to rise. Exhale, arch the low spine, dropping the hips to the heels. Couple more rounds. Inhale. Getting a full curvature of the spine from the crown of the head to the tailbone. And as you exhale, arch the low spine, sink the hips back. Let's do one more. Inhale, we rise. Once the shoulders stack over the wrist, we start to lower back down onto our heels. Inhale, rising up into cat. We're going to start to, this time, instead of sink it back into Balasana, we're going to sink our right hip to our right heel. So starting with some hip circles, starting to get a little more movement in the hips. You can make these circles as big or as small as you like, but continuing to let your breath be your guide and your movement follow. So if all we did today on our mat was just sit and breathe, following the breath, we would be doing yoga. But letting, throughout this practice, your movement be linked to your breath. Swapping the rotation of the hips whenever it feels good, whenever you're ready. Again, this movement can be as big or as small as you like. Maybe you find a spot that feels like it might need a little bit of extra love. You can take a pause there, moving in whatever way your body feels called to move. This is your practice. So stacking the hips over the knees, we're going to start to walk the palms forward. Walking them forward as much as feels comfortable, rooting down, feeling that energy of the earth beneath it. And then keeping the hips stacked over the knees, we're going to start to melt the heart to the earth, coming into heart chakra pose. So maybe you can start to rest the space between the brow onto the earth, getting a nice stretch in the armpits and the shoulders, the top of the back. So each inhalation, we fill up that space in the back of the body. Really let the breath expand the skin from the inside out. And then as you exhale, maybe you can just melt a little bit deeper into this posture. Let's do a few more rounds of breath here. Big inhale, stretching the skin from the inside out. And exhale, we melt. Release. Starting to walk the palms back in close to the body. Again, stacking and gaining our foundation. Next inhalation, we're going to take our right fingertips to the heavens, big inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to thread it through, starting to come onto the right shoulder. Walking the left palm forward, planting it forward. You can use it as a kickstand, you can walk it forward, you can start to wrap it around the low spine, reaching for the hip crease of the right hip. Getting a nice stretch in the right shoulder. Couple rounds of breath here. Gently unwinding. Coming back into tabletop. Next inhalation, taking the left fingertips to the sky, big inhale. And then as you exhale, threading the arm through, coming onto the left shoulder. Again, you can walk the right palm forward. You can use it as a kickstand right in close to the body. Or you can even wrap it around, reaching for the left hip crease. Letting the bind maybe take you a little bit deeper into the stretch. Breathing into that left shoulder. We've got 3 rounds of breath here. Full inhalation. Complete exhalation. Letting the breath completely exit the body. Unwinding, taking the palms back forward. We're going to start to walk the palms forward again, and then staying low to the earth, we're going to make our way onto our belly. So keeping the hips high, slithering forward like a snake. We're going to extend the right arm out like a T, and then using our left palm to press us, we're going to make our way over onto our right shoulder. So getting a little more work in our shoulders. You can even use this top leg as a kickstand. Continuing to follow the path of the breath. Sending your inhalation and exhalation into that right shoulder. Rolling back onto the belly. And then extending the left arm out beside you like a T. Using the right arm to push you up and over onto the left shoulder. Again, you can use that top leg as a kickstand. 3 complete cycles of breath here. Sending the breath into that left shoulder. Rolling back onto the belly. We're going to come in and do 3 rounds of cobra. So pressing into the tops of the feet. We want this lift to come from the large muscles in the low back. Pelvis pressed into the earth, but relaxing the glutes if possible. So on an inhalation, we're going to lift up, tenting the fingers beside the body. On an inhalation, we're going to lift up, baby cobra. As we exhale, we lower back down. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, lowering back down. Inhale for baby cobra. Exhale, lower back down. This last one, we're going to lift up and we're going to stay. So you have some options here. You can lift up and come into Sphinx. So placing the forearms onto the earth parallel, shoulders stacked over the elbows, gazing forward, pulling the elbows back towards the heels, really opening up in the shoulders, shining the heart forward. Pressing into the tops of the feet, pelvis is heavy to the earth, but relaxing the glutes. If you're ready for it, you can start to press into the palms, lifting up just a little bit further. Take a big inhale, maybe you can lift up just a little bit more. And then as you exhale, lower back down onto the belly. Your next round of breath, you're going to push up, Coming through tabletop, sinking it back into Balasana, keeping the knees together. So we're getting a nice counter stretch in the low back. Wrapping the arms around you, imagining that we're obviously hugging ourselves, but we're not only hugging ourselves, we're hugging everyone, the entire universe. As we hug that inner body bright within us, we're also giving a hug to our collective community, to all of humanity. So gently unwrapping ourselves. We're going to make our way back into tabletop. So again, shoulders stacked over the wrists. Take an inhalation. As we exhale, we're going to tuck the toes, lifting the knees off the earth, arching the low spine, and then taking the hips to the heavens and the heels to the earth, coming into downward facing dog. So taking these first few moments in downward facing dog just to do whatever your body might feel called to do. Maybe pedaling out the feet. If you want to bend one knee and side stretch, get a side stretch. The right and the left side. And then starting to settle into stillness for a few breaths. So pressing evenly into the palms of the hands and the feet, sinking the heels to the earth. Broaden the shoulders, melting the heart to the knees. Maybe you can even press into the knuckles. Breathing here. Moment by moment, breath by breath. One more full cycle of breath. Next inhalation, we're going to take the right foot and step it in between the palms, lowering down onto the left shin. So walking the right foot forward as much as you need to keep the knee generally stacked over the ankle. Finding that nice, juicy spot for the stretch in the hips. And then taking the fingertips to the heavens. Next inhalation, we're going to lift up out of the side body through the fingertips. Big inhale. And then as we exhale, we're going to start to shine the heart to the heavens, coming into a gentle back bend. Anjaneyasana. Shining the heart forward. Sending all that nourishment that we've been collecting up and shining it out for everyone else, sharing it. 2 more full cycles of breath here. Pressing into the feet. Maybe this last inhale, you can lift up a little bit more out of the side body. And then exhale, take it back just a little bit more. And then gently making our way, we're going to come and hug the right knee. So curling in. Taking a few breaths here. Taking the palms down to the earth. We're going to come onto the balls of the left feet. We're going to start to hop that foot in just a little bit. So we're coming into wide-legged pyramids. You can stay on the ball of the left foot. You can dial that heel down. You do want the feet to be on railroad tracks for balance. Next inhalation, we're going to halfway lift, so long in the spine and the neck. And then as you exhale, start to fold over that right leg, pulling that right hip back, coming into pyramid posture. If you feel like you've got your balance here, maybe you want to even give yourself another hug. Three more rounds of breath here. Pulling that right hip back if it wants to draw forward. So we want the left and the right hip to be striving for the same plane. Next inhale, we're going to rise up halfway and then start to lower back down onto the left knee again. So we're going to hinge the left foot back towards the right. We're going to start to walk around the long edge side of the mat, extending the right foot forward, planting down with the left palm. So we've got a 90-degree angle here, extending out through the right foot. We're going to take our right hand up and over, taking the bicep by the ear. For a nice side stretch, so long lines of energy coming up through the right toes, through the body, out through the fingertips. Maybe the gaze follows. Breathing here. If you'd like to challenge your balance here, you can maybe start to lift the right leg off the earth. Again, that's your option, taking a few breaths there. And then taking the torso and the right arm back down to face the earth. We're going to take the left leg and take the left ankle towards the right wrist. So we're coming into pigeon on the left side. So maybe the shin is parallel to the front of the mat. Maybe the foot draws back more in towards the hip. So on an inhale, we're going to lift up, scissoring the legs together, long in the spine and the neck. And then as we exhale, we'll start to walk the palms forward, starting to fold over that left leg. Coming into pigeon posture. You can rest the forehead on a little hand pillow or on the earth. I like to rest that space between the brow on the earth whenever possible. Really connecting the energy of Mother Earth to myself, to my own inner being. A few more rounds of breath here. Letting the breath fill up any space in the hips that's holding tension. Let the inhalation expand it. And then as you exhale, melting a little bit deeper into the posture. Two more rounds of breath here. Starting to press back into the palms. Pressing into the palms, tucking the right toe under. We're taking the left foot back to meet the right. Coming into plank posture. We're going to be here for 5 breaths, just working on a little strength. So imagining your body is long and strong like a piece of wood or a board. Pressing out of the shoulders, gazing down at the earth. Navel tucked in. 3 more rounds of breath. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, start to bend the knees, arch the low spine, taking it back into downward facing dog. And 2 more breaths in downward facing dog. And then the next inhalation, we're taking the left foot, stepping it in between the palms, lowering onto the right shin. Again, walking that left foot forward as much as feels good to get that nice stretch in the left hip, keeping the knee stacked generally over the ankle. Pressing into the top of the right foot and the right shin. On an inhale, we rise up, fingertips to the heavens, maybe sinking into the posture a little bit deeper. Next inhale, we're going to lift up and out of the side body, extending all the way out through the fingertips, so lifting up. And then as we exhale, we're going to start to shine the heart to the heavens, coming into a gentle back bend, Anjaneyasana. Again, shining our light, sharing the nourishment that we are collecting up, and shining it out to share with others. 3 more cycles of breath. Maybe this last one you can lift up just a little bit more. And then as you exhale, take it back just a tiny bit more. And then making our way, we're going to give our left knee a hug. So starting to curl over that left knee. Showing some love and gratitude for ourselves and our bodies. Taking the palms down to frame that left foot. We're going to start to come on the ball of the right foot and bump that right leg in just a bit. So we're setting up for pyramid posture on the left. You can stay on the ball of the right foot. You can dial that heel down. Again, feet are on railroad tracks. So once you've found that place that feels good, on an inhale, we're going to halfway lift, pulling that left hip back so both hip points, same plane. And then as you exhale, start to fold over that left leg. The knee can definitely be bent here. Don't want to lock it out. Again, if you have your balance and you want to give yourself another hug, you can hug in a little bit on that left leg. 3 more rounds of breath here. Pulling that left hip back. Next inhale, halfway lift. And then starting to lower onto that right knee. We're going to hinge that leg back towards the left, taking the fingertips, walking along the long edge of the mat. We're going to extend out the left toes. We've got a 90-degree angle here with our right leg. Planting down with the right palm. Taking the palm in towards the body and up overhead with the bicep by the ear. Getting a nice side stretch in the left side body, so energy's coming up through our toes, through the side body, out through the fingertips, keeping that heart rotated to the heavens. Breathing. One more full cycle of breath here. And then taking the left palm and torso back down towards the earth. Stacking the palms back underneath the shoulder. We're going to take that right foot in towards the left wrist. Setting up for pigeon on the right side. So maybe your shin is parallel to the top of your mat. Maybe your foot just wants to draw in, whatever feels good in your body. And then once you've found that spot where you want your right leg to be, on an inhale, lifting up, scissoring the legs, extending out through the spine. And then as you exhale, start to fold over that right leg, maybe making adjustments as you go along. You can rest the head on the hands with the earth. Breathing here. Letting the inhalation fill up any spaces in the right hip that might be holding tension. And then exhalation, relax, release, and melt. Couple more rounds here. Pressing into the palms, starting to make our way back up to center. We're going to come to lying on the back. So rolling your way onto your back, nice and easy. Bringing the knees into the chest, just applying some pressure to the tops of the shins. Melting the low back into the earth. Maybe you want to rock. Giving the low back and spine massage. And then wrapping the arms fully around the knees, giving ourselves another hug. Again, imagining here, not only are we hugging ourselves, showing ourselves love, but we're hugging our brothers and our sisters. Lowering back down, extending the arms out like a T. We're going to start to lower the knees over to the right, coming into a supine twist. So shimmying the hips over to the left as much as you need to find that alignment in the spine. And then lowering the knees over to the right, gazing out over the left fingertips. 4 more full cycles of breath here. Using our core to float the knees up through the center. And then making any adjustments necessary before lowering the knees over to the left. So maybe shimmying the hips over to the right. And then lowering the left knees over to the left, using your core to lower them down. Gazing out over the right fingertips. Four more full cycles of breath here. Staying anchored to the breath, anchored to the present moment. The awareness of our breath is the awareness of our consciousness. Not our mind and our thoughts, but the watcher of those thoughts. The observer. Using your center, your core, to float those knees back up. We're going to rock and roll our way up to seated. Maybe 2 or 3 times, just massaging the spine. We're coming back into easy seated pose as we wrap up this gentle practice today. So maybe you're in easy seated pose. Maybe you're on your knees. We're going to take our arms out like a T. Big inhalation here, expanding. And then as we exhale, we're going to wrap our right arm over our left, reaching our hands towards the valley beside our shoulder, keeping the eyes closed here. Rooting down the sit bones to the earth. And then light as a feather from the navel, uplifted. And as you breathe, with each inhalation, maybe you can even visualize that inner body bright, that essential core of who we are, that's connected to everything within the universe. So, with that connection in mind, imagining here as we're holding ourselves, we're holding our physical body, but we're also holding our spiritual body. And the spiritual body of all the other light beings in the universe. Sending them healing and nourishment with each breath we take. Gently unwinding our arms here. Maybe shake it out. And then expanding the arms again. So again, collecting all that light and nourishment that the universe has to offer for us. It is there for us. Big inhale. And then as you exhale, wrapping the left arm over the right, reaching for the valley beside the shoulder blades. Again, staying long in the spine and the neck. With each inhalation, carrying that love and nourishment not only to ourselves, but to the collective, to humanity. Gently unwinding. So that wraps up our practice today. I encourage you, if you have the time, to stretch out on your mat for a final posture of Shavasana, corpse pose. Taking at least 5 minutes to just completely let go and surrender. Surrendering into the depths of something greater than yourself. I thank you for your presence and your practice today. Taking the time to nourish yourself is so important right now. Whether that be through your yoga practice or meditation or dance or being out in nature or journaling, all those things that we do to nourish ourselves are not only providing healing for our own inner light, but for every light. So I encourage you to take this time of slowing down to do those things that fill you up. Because when we fill ourselves up, we are filling up the collective. Namaste.